Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana. Please ignore the tape on my wall. I'm trying to see if I wanted a poster there, maybe two. I need to figure out how different sizes look on my wall, so this is helpful. Today, I'm going to do the end of the year book tag because it is almost the end of the year. Next week is December. I'm trying not to think too much about that, but let's get into the questions. Question number one, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? When I originally planned this video, I was in the middle of 2 books, so that was my answer, but I finished them already. So the only book I'm reading right now is Breath, this one, The New Science of the Lost Art by James Nestor. I will definitely finish this before the end of the year because I'm already this far into it, which doesn't look like much, but for someone like me who's a very slow reader, the fact that I started this like 2 days ago and I'm already that far into it, considering I only read during my commutes, is saying something. This is amazing. This book is absolutely amazing. Number 2, do you have a seasonal book to transition into the end of the year? I'm generally not a seasonal reader. The only time when I feel like, ooh, I should pick something according to the season is fall. Like this year I tried to read spooky books during October, which I did. Asked you to help me pick the books and I made this video and I never updated you on how that went. I actually ended up reading 3 books out of that list and one of them was 5 stars and now a favorite, and you will hear about it in my best books of the year video for sure. But when talking about winter, the genres that seem more conducive to that are mysteries. I would say cozy mysteries, and by cozy I just mean less thrillery maybe, and fantasy. I don't know why, but I feel like when it's super cold outside and snowy and you want to stay home all day, it feels appropriate to escape into a different world while you're under the blankets. There are 2 books that I'm hoping to read before the end of the year. One of them is a mystery and another is a fantasy, so hopefully that happens. Number 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, absolutely not. I haven't been really paying attention to what is coming out soon. I feel like I have enough books on my TBR that I'm excited about to not need to look into the future and see what other books are coming out. I'm sure there are books in my TBR finds that I mentioned before that are set to be released later this year, but I don't keep track of them. So if I come across them, I come across them. If not, I'm not really waiting for anything. Number 4, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I actually have 4 books written down and I hope I can get to all of them before the end of the year. I really do. Number 1 is Pandora by Susan Stocks Chapman, and this is a historical fiction set in London in the late 1700s, and it's loosely based on the myth of Pandora. And I was planning to pick this up. I'm pretty sure that Jane Bookish Thoughts has a readathon coming up. Is it the 2nd week of December? I don't remember correctly. I should actually check that out. But I think it centers around reading myth retellings or something. I'm sure there is a readathon. I'm just not sure if it's about myth retellings, but I'm planning to read a myth retelling for that one. I also have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. If you're into mysteries, you've heard about this book. It's very famous, people really enjoy it. It's supposed to be fast-paced and an easy read and very cozy from what I hear. And the other 2 books, okay, fantasy that I mentioned is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I realized recently that it's been a very long time since I've read a fantasy, which is bizarre for me because I love fantasy. I've heard so many good things about this book. I feel like it's time to get into this one. And the last book is one I've had on my shelves for a long time. It's Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. It's pretty dense, as in there are a lot of pages and the font is small, so that always stopped me. But I found an audiobook for it, and I think on double speed audiobook, I can do this. I can read this during my commute, while I'm washing the dishes, while I'm cleaning my room. I'm very confident that this is very doable for me. So I'm hoping to read these 4 books before the end of the year. Let's see if that works out. 5, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Well, listen, I'm reading Breath, as I've already mentioned, and I'm currently on part 2, which is just page 55. And I can tell you that while I was reading the introduction before part 1 starts, I already felt like this will be a 5-star book. And the more I read, the more I feel confident in that. Like, it's blowing my mind so much. There are so many things that I had no idea. I mentioned in several videos a book I love, How We Sleep, and how it changed my life, and how I was annoying everyone in my life by telling them all these facts about sleep and our bodies. And this is exactly like that. I just want like read out sections of this book to everyone. It's not like, oh, let me tell you a little fact I learned from this book. Like, I want to open a chapter and just read it to you, because wow. So that is definitely another book that will be on my best books of 2022 list. Apart from this one, the 4 books that I'm planning to read, Pandora is a book that people really seem to enjoy, but I've not read many reviews of people saying it's their favorite book ever. So I don't really expect this book to like change my life and be the best thing I ever read, though I still think it will be very enjoyable. Same with Thursday Murder Club. I think it will be a fun read, an interesting mystery, but will it be like best book ever? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe you should talk to someone. No idea. It's hard to say. I love books about psychology and therapy, but it really depends on the tone and the stories and how impactful this one will be for me, so it's hard to say. But Strange the Dreamer is one that people adore so much that I have a lot of expectations for this book to become a favorite. So hopefully it happens and I give it 5 stars and it joins the ranks of my favorite books ever. Number 6, have you already started making reading plans for next year? I mean, I never set very like concrete reading plans for the year. The recurring plan is to read more of my physical TBR. I overall just feel very hopeful about my reading in the next year, because this year has been a lot and very stressful, and I've not been reading much at all this year. I've not been in a reading mood. I've been very stressed about many things, including my work, and I've been struggling with my health several times this year. Now, like closer to, I think it happened like in October, I suddenly felt like reading again, and I feel like I fell back in love with reading, and I've been reading more books and getting that momentum. Now that I think about my physical TBR, it's not something that is like a daunting task of, you know, having to read all these books I don't want to read, but I'm actually very excited and I love the books that I've accumulated. I mean, I handpick every single book that I buy, right? I'm excited about every single one of those books. That's why I buy them. And so it's time to actually enjoy them. There are some books that I know I will love, but for some reason I couldn't pick them up. And I think it's part of like a delayed pleasure mentality. That's something I like to do. Even with my food, I always leave the best thing on the plate till the very end. I start with the thing I enjoy the least, so that there is always like pleasure in the future. And I think I've been doing that with books as well, and I think I should just start consuming things I enjoy and not delaying my pleasure. And this is all for this tag. Let me know what books you're excited to read before the end of the year, and how has 2022 been like for you reading wise? Have you read a lot? Have your favorite genre shifted? Have you noticed any changes in your reading habits? Those are things I always find very interesting to hear about. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye!